So, what's the difference between a sunset clause and a repeal clause in California legislation? And is there an actual difference? I could only find two California code sections using the word sunset date, both of which are concerning the sunset or expiration of an existing tax. So, these were in the California Revenue and Taxation Code. On the other hand, there are thousands of instances in California codes where the term repeal or repealed is used. So the answer to the original question is none. The difference is that a technical term is the repeal clause, although some jurisdictions sometimes refer to it as a repealer clause. The most commonly used term, however, is sunset clause or sunset date. Whether either term is used, repeal date and repeal clause are the better terms and more accurate ones, and frankly, I think they should be used more regularly. Nonetheless, we see sunset date even in legislation. For example, there were some bills just from the recently concluded 2024 California legislative session that said, in one instance, the bill would remove the January 1, 2025 sunset date, thereby extending the operation of the statute. And another bill that said this bill would delete the January 1, 2029 sunset date described above. The reason it's more appropriate to use repeal is because that is what is actually being done by a so-called sunset clause. And in statute, we always use the term repeal with few exceptions. For example, common statutory language in California law provides this article, this section, this statute shall remain in effect only until January 1, 2030, and is repealed on December 31st, 2030. In other words, we don't say in statute it is sunsetted or it sunsets on a specified date. So while in everyday conversation in and about the California Capitol, we're more likely to talk about a sunset clause or a sunset date, when drafting state legislation or formally discussing these types of provisions, we should use the term repeal because that is what is being done by these provisions. They're actually repealing a statute or group of statutes. Remember that there are just three actions or a combination of them that can take place with a bill. It can add new law, amend an existing law, or repeal an existing law. However, we don't sunset an existing law as a matter of formality in California statute.